Speaking of people I liked better on the program, I guess now if we do record Raw and zip through that, we won't have to watch the Vince McMahon, Austin Theory segments on YouTube later on, and we'll get to see if Theory actually does anything worthwhile. But my God, again, this week, it's the same thing now every week. Poor Austin Theory, who looks like the cover of a Blue Boy magazine, to quote Cyndi Lauper. He's physique. He's a great-looking kid, and we've said he can work. What a natural in the ring. He's having to sit there and nod and react to the blatherings of a... Did you watch the closed captions?
No, I forgot to.
God damn you. Just damn your eyes. Damn you to hell, Brian Last. Every time that I watch one of these YouTube clips of Vince and Austin Theory, for whatever reason, the way I'm getting it, I don't know how this shit works, but I've got the closed captions on those clips. And the closed captions are gibberish. It cannot figure out what Vince is saying. It can sometimes, because they talk over each other when Austin's saying, oh, yes, or agreeing or whatever, and Vince is saying something else, they can't even figure out any of it. But the closed captioning is like, I'm throwing my hands up. He's looking away at what I think are bullet point cards. Because he'll be talking to Austin Theory, but then he'll look off to the left. And that's where and these are not, somebody's going to think it's cue cards like Johnny Carson's monologue was written down word for word, right? And no, if this is any kind of card, it'd be bullet points that Vince has probably determined himself that he wants to do this. That's where the cards would be placed, is the direction he's looking if they were using them. And his eyes, to quote Mama Cornette, look like two piss holes in a snowbank. It's just, they're floating in there somewhere. It looks like his suit is the only thing holding him upright. And so Theory has to do nothing but wait to react to the babbling and the harumphing. But I watched this twice. The first time just reading the closed captions and it was fucking hilarious. And then the second time I watched for them interacting with each other, and I still never watched for the content. I don't know what he's talking. He's you're going to be in the Royal Rumble, and if you win the Royal Rumble, you'll get a chance at any championship you want to challenge for. And Theory's mind is blown, like this hadn't been the case for the last however many years, and everybody knows it. But otherwise, it's just Vince taking him to task for interrupting and then saying, but I like to interrupt people. Shows you don't care about them or whatever. I mean, it was just, what's going on here? And does someone need to tell Vince McMahon, of all people, Vince, you're damaging your legacy by appearing on television in this fashion?
I don't know if anyone will have the guts to say that to him. He looks less like Vince McMahon than he does. Remember the Genesis video for Land of Confusion with the puppets from Splitting Image in England? That's what he looks like. I don't know why he's on camera. All of a sudden, we've been watching these bad backstage vignettes for years. They're all shot one way. This is the first time where all of a sudden they're switching cameras in the middle of this thing? They've never done that before. And if they have, it's a rare occasion. And you'll watch Vince, what you could see of his eyes, he's looking off camera somewhere and reading something.
It did seem like that one from the two-shot to the close-up of Vince was very well done. If it had been another company, you could probably have told, but this was very well done. But I believe it was an edit because I don't think they could get through all 2 minutes or whatever of this thing in one take. And then you have the close-up of Vince because they had to cut to something. You couldn't have a jump cut from two-shot to two-shot. And like you said, it looked like he was absorbing some of the content off of a sheet and not necessarily interacting with Austin Theory.
And give him credit, because he's doing whatever he's been given a lot of shit. And Austin Theory's doing as much as he can, you could tell, to get them to see, oh, okay, he's trying. He's doing everything.
Oh, it's like he's an organ grinder's monkey, and Vince is the organ grinder. And he's trying to do his part, but if the organ grinder's not very entertaining, you're ended up with you're just watching the monkey jump around.
Can you imagine? This is the guy ordering all those Raw script rewrites all day, the day of the show.
Oh, my God.
It's this guy.
Because, I mean, I'm used to that. It used to be, all right, we're going to take out Sig 6. We're going to insert Triple H. We're going to insert The Undertaker. We'll have 15 minutes for that match. We'll go to the break. When we come back from the break, I mean, everything is, he's reading it to you. He's dictating it. You're taking it down. Everything is precise. It's coming up with this on the spot. I can't imagine hearing rewrites from this Vince, who's talking about pencils and erasers and, you know, whatever
Eggs.
the fuck. He's in his own mind, in his own world.
Don't forget the egg.
And the egg. Splooge on my egg.
Here's the other question. And look, we can't. You are a wrestling genius. I will never ask you to try to figure out what the fuck they're doing up there. What's the end game, do you think, for Austin Theory out of this?
I think
On
somehow,
at face value, for whatever this is, what's the end game?
I think somehow Vince perceives that this is portraying to the fans that he has taken Austin Theory under his wing because he likes the ruthless aggression and or the attitude and whatever of their other marketing slogans that the kid has, but he's going to show him tough love and bring it out in a forceful manner, force him to get to the top. That's what Vince is telling himself and telling other people, probably, maybe not as articulately as I just did, what the gist of this thing is. But as it's coming across, I'm thinking that there's nobody there that has the capability to tell Vince, well, that may be the idea, but in execution, it ain't coming across. So that's what I think's going on.
Hey, one more thing I will say. We talk about so much negative stuff with WWE, but when you start thinking about their future, if they don't mess it up, and they mess up almost everything, or if they don't scare off wrestlers who want to leave because they're fed up with it, but with an Austin Theory and a Rex Steiner, Walter, I mean, he's a little bit older, I think. There are some guys there. There are starting to now have some guys that aren't yet in the main event mix. But when they finally get there, it'll be a nice break from the Sheamuses and the Randy Ortons and everyone who's been doing it for the last 15 years nonstop.
Yes, because they desperately need fresh guys on top, but those guys need to look like they're supposed to be on top. And there's been a problem over the last several years. So hopefully, as you said, if they don't screw it up. But would you like Vince to take you under his wing, Brian?
No.
Maybe get you to the top?
No, thank you.
No, he could blow pencil shavings in your face and and he could say weird things that you don't understand the meaning of, but you nod your head anyway. But you know what? I'm thinking WWE's a big company, right? They got a lot of money. They got all the TV rights fees and everything coming in. Why are they still letting the head of their company write down his own bullet points on a little poster board when they could be feeding Vince his lines so that he could do these things in a better and more efficient manner? They could be feeding him his lines in some kind of earpiece, or maybe even the Raycon wireless earbuds.
Oh, what a great idea.
Because that way, and here's the thing, Vince's earlobes are so big anyway, you could stick these things in, the people would never see him on camera. Because there's no wires, there's no stems. You don't look like my favorite Martian when you're wearing the Raycon everyday earbuds. No, they've got the perfect in-ear fit. We've talked about that. You don't even need to lube them up. Just shove them in dry and the fun begins. And that way, people would be able to tell Vince what to say so he could then just kind of formulate those words. Maybe they could put a transmitter in his mouth and he could hear it in his ear and it would come out of his mouth. All he'd have to do is open his mouth wide like Donald Sutherland in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. But anyway, folks, if you don't want to listen to the producer of your television show because you're not on one, but you want to listen to music or podcasts or whatever you listen to, just not the nattering of your bitchy other half, then all you have to do is take these Raycons with you wherever you go because they go with you. There's also, as we've mentioned, an awareness mode for when you need to listen to your surroundings, when you know your wife is going to hit you from behind with a frying pan, you know that the train is bearing down on you. You just hit that awareness button and you'll be able to hear it right before your brain caves in. Otherwise, folks, they sound great. You get quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. 8 hours of playtime, 32-hour battery life. I can't even stay up that long. And right now, program listeners of our fine podcasts, all the people in the cult of Cornette, can get 15% off their Raycon order at buyraycon.com, BUYRAYCON, buyraycon.com/JCE, 15% off everything on the site, buyraycon.com/JCE. Hear it in your ear, Brian.
I would like to. I'd like to hear it in my ear so I can not have to read the closed captioning that you yelled at me for not reading. I just went back and checked. There are several moments of inaudible.
Yes, there's some inaudible too, but some of the words that they think that Vince said that he didn't say are even...
When you pause this thing, he's clearly looking off camera. He's clearly reading off something.
Yeah. It's... and this is a guy who used to go in the ring for 20-minute soliloquies. And it's a 2-minute pre-tape. So that's all I'm saying.